They say money has become smarter than people these days. It doesn't like to sit still anymore. It runs away from those who don't respect it and looks for those who understand the rules of the game. And here's the paradox. In a world where we have more knowledge than ever before, most people still live paycheck to paycheck, from hope to hope. Not because there aren't opportunities, but because of old thinking in a new world. I remember once saying, "Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were stronger." 2026 won't be easier, but it can be your year of strength if you learn to manage not your money, but yourself. Because the truth is simple. Financial well-being isn't about the economy, it's about philosophy. And while most people are looking for a new currency, the real winners are looking for a new character. Tell me honestly, do you control your money, or does your money control you? If you remove all the decoration, financial well-being isn't about money. It's about the character that manages money. For many years, I've repeated, the market doesn't pay for hopes, it pays for value. 2026 will prove this more harshly than ever. The world is getting faster, but the ones who grow rich aren't those with more speed, but those with better philosophy. Look around. Everyone is looking for a magic button. Where to open an account, which token to buy, which course to take over the weekend. They keep changing tools but never change themselves. They're building a house on sand, lots of movement, little foundation. And when the next wave of news hits, their plans dissolve like writing on wet sand. Another group, those who really change their lives, do the opposite. They first build themselves, then their portfolio. They don't chase profit, they grow toward profit because income rarely outruns personal growth. What do most people do? They check their mood and their bank balance on the same morning. When they feel good, they act. When they feel bad, they look for excuses. They measure progress in days, not years. And that's why every downturn scares them, like a winter without supplies. They live in "it'll work out somehow" mode, replacing discipline with doses of inspiration. Their financial strategy is a line of promises to themselves. I'll start on Monday, I'll save from the next paycheck, I'll read that book when I have time. And you know what happens? Year after year, they live the same year again. Their wallet moves in circles along with their habits. And what do those who change their lives do? They start with a decision, not with inspiration. They accept an unpleasant truth. Money doesn't tolerate an uncertain owner. So their first investment is clarity. Clear numbers, clear dates, clear rules. They don't ask the world when it'll get easier. They ask themselves how to become stronger to handle any season. When the wind changes, they don't stay up all night reading forecasts. They adjust the sails. And honestly, that's how I learned to manage my own life. I used to look for outside reasons until my mentor once asked how much I'd saved in recent years. The answer was 0. The real question was, who's responsible for that? That evening, I realized that financial results reflect daily habits, values, and schedules, not dreams, not diplomas, not random luck. 2026 will reward those who stop negotiating with their own rules. Here's my contrast. In pure form, the majority live from event to event, react when it's too late, cling to comfort. The minority live from principle to principle, act in advance, hold on to what matters. The majority try to earn more so they can finally start saving later. The minority save and invest first, then earn more because they already have the habits that attract abundance. The majority change jobs without changing themselves, change places but not thinking. The minority work more on themselves than on their position, and that's why every next market lifts them higher, like a wave lifting a well-built boat. I want this video not to become just another lecture about where to invest. I'm not against tools. Tools matter. But a tool in the hands of an undisciplined owner turns into a toy. You can open the perfect account and still stay where you were if your philosophy leads nowhere. Why do some families with the same income as yours have peace and savings, while others have chronic anxiety? Not because of geography, but because of the geometry of their decisions. where each day is aimed. Strong people have simple but unbreakable rules. Pay yourself first, live below your income, increase your value in the market, protect your reputation, and prepare for winter while it's still summer. Their advantage isn't dramatic, it's daily. They don't look for a jackpot hit. They grow the percentage that works for them while they sleep. There's another key contrast: the horizon. Everyone chooses based on how they feel tonight. Those who change their lives choose based on who they want to be in 5 years. When decisions are made with that long view, temptations lose their power. Easy purchases lose to future freedom. Laziness loses to chosen purpose. That's how character is born, the kind that attracts prosperity. When you become the kind of person who can keep and grow wealth, money finds its way to your door, through new offers, trust, recommendations, and better terms. The world always looks for responsible and consistent people. 2026 will be no exception. And one last thing in this thesis about the price: every big intention I ever had came with a bill. I once wanted financial freedom without early mornings. Respect without added value, results without training doesn't work. There's a law of exchange. Give an hour of focused learning. Gain increased value. Spend less than you earn. Gain stability. Be honest with your numbers. Gain honest decisions. Pay today. Live freer tomorrow. Delay the payment. Pay double, with interest and anxiety. That's why this program isn't about quick profit. It's about a new personal constitution, a set of principles that make you the kind of person who already deserves abundance, even before it arrives. So let's agree on this. We're not chasing the new trend of the year. We're rewriting our mindset from beggar of luck to master of capital. And when everyone gets tired of chasing news, you'll have what never gets old: steady habits, clear rules, and a character that can't be bought for short-term comfort. That's our main idea. Financial well-being is the side effect of a mature philosophy and daily discipline, and if you're ready, we'll go through 7 strategies that worked yesterday, work today, and will work tomorrow, as long as seasons, interest, and human nature exist. Now be honest. Which 2 rules are you ready to accept right now so that 2026 pays you for value, not for excuses? I remember one evening that divided my life into before and after. I was 25. On the table, bills on the shelves, books I had once promised myself to read, and in my pockets, a few coins. Then my neighbor, a wealthy man I respected, knocked on the door. He came in, sat down, looked at me calmly, and asked, "Jim, how are your finances doing?" I got embarrassed. I started explaining. Tough times, the economy is bad, my family needs things, the salary is small. He didn't interrupt, he just listened, nodding. Then he paused and asked one short question that lit a fire inside me. "And who's responsible for that?" I started talking about circumstances, about the system, but he calmly repeated, "Who's responsible for that?" That silence was the most valuable lesson of my life, because suddenly I understood that I am fully responsible for what's in my wallet, in my head, and in my calendar. Not the company, not the government, not the weather, me. And in that moment, I didn't feel shame. I felt power. Because if I'm the cause, I can also be the solution. If I'm the source of the problem, that means I can also be the source of change. That evening, I took a notebook and wrote, "Start a new philosophy," and next to it, "Change myself, not wait for circumstances to change." Then I wrote my first step, save 10% from every income. Not after the holidays, not next month, but immediately. And even though the numbers were tiny, it wasn't about money. It was about building a habit. The first few months, I felt like I was fighting myself. The habits of poverty whispered, "You're not ready yet. It's too little. It doesn't matter." But I forced myself to stick to the plan. And after a year, I had not only a small amount in the bank, I had a sense of ownership over my life. Money no longer controlled me. I controlled myself. I started reading every day. I opened an investment account. I began keeping a simple financial journal, not to record expenses, but to train attention, because attention is the first currency of discipline. A few years later, I noticed that the biggest changes didn't happen in my accounts, but in my character, I started seeing opportunities where I once saw walls. People said, "You're lucky." No, I just changed my habits. And every new habit opened another window. Money came not because I chased it, but because I became the kind of person who could be trusted with it. That same neighbor once told me, "Jim, financial abundance doesn't come to the one who wants money, but to the one who knows how to manage it wisely. Wealth is trust." I've been repeating that lesson to people for decades. You can't get more than you're ready to keep. Not because the world is cruel, but because it's wise. If you haven't learned to manage 1,000, it won't trust you with 1,000,000. If you haven't learned to use an hour well, it won't trust you with a day. Money only amplifies your character. In the hands of a mature person, it becomes a tool. In the hands of an irresponsible one, it becomes a fast track to collapse. I remember a few years after that conversation, my mentor and I were sitting at dinner. I already had my own business and spoke to audiences. I asked him, "What was the most important part of that short phrase, 'Who's responsible for that?'" He smiled. "That you stopped seeing yourself as a victim." That's the whole difference between poverty and abundance. The victim looks for excuses, the master looks for a way. The victim blames the world, the master builds a new one. This story isn't about numbers, it's about a moment of awakening. When you realize that waiting for things to get easier is pointless, the world won't get gentler, but you can get stronger. From that day on, every new goal began with the same question: who's responsible for that? And every time I felt the temptation to blame someone or something, I remembered that evening and the silence after the question. Because that's where my financial freedom was born. Now let me ask you, if tonight you sit down and honestly look at your finances, your career, your habits, who will you see as responsible for the result, and what will change if you finally give an honest answer? Over the years, I've realized that financial success doesn't come from a lucky opportunity, but from the slow change of your inner laws. Money isn't just paper bills. It's a litmus test of your philosophy. It shows how you think, how you react, and how you set priorities. You see, the world isn't divided into rich and poor, but into those who control the laws and those who submit to chance. Some live by principles, others by emotions. One asks, what works? Another asks, what's easy? And that determines the result, not only in your wallet, but in every part of your life. Remember I said that financial well-being is a reflection of your philosophy? Think about this. When someone says, "I can't save because all my money goes to expenses," they've already diagnosed their way of thinking. They live in a model where circumstances are bigger than they are. But a person who says, "I'll start saving even if it's just $5 a week," is already creating a new reality. Not because $5 will change their life, but because they will change. Every time you overcome yourself in small things, you build the strength that will one day take you to a higher level, and the world adjusts to the new version of you. The law of finance is the same as the law of nature. What you plant grows, no matter your mood. If you plant chaos, chaos returns. If you plant clarity, clarity multiplies. If day by day you manage your expenses, learn and set goals with discipline, you start to experience the effect of compound interest, not just in money, but in character. At some point, your habits start earning instead of you. And that's when financial freedom stops being a dream and becomes a mechanism. But here's the trap for many people. They look for motivation instead of structure. They wait to feel inspired before they start acting. Yet inspiration is a guest that rarely arrives on time. Discipline is the host that's always home. The year 2026 will test exactly this. Whether a person can stay focused when there's noise, technological change, uncertainty, and an endless stream of easy ways. Speed is no longer an advantage. Resilience is, I know many people who've lived through the ups and downs of the market, and each of them will confirm when you've built a system, even a storm can't destroy your foundation, because discipline isn't pressure, it's insurance. It's an inner agreement between your present self and your future self. I'll do what I must so you can live better. And interestingly, once that agreement is made, fear disappears. A person with a system doesn't panic, they adapt. A person without a system looks for someone to blame. We often think the main goal is to earn more, but I've seen people who got a raise and found themselves in the same place a year later. They increased their income, but not their discipline. They changed the numbers, but not their philosophy. And so the system balanced itself again, back to the old habit. Because a financial hole isn't a budget problem, it's a character problem, and until you close it inside, it will reopen again and again. Let's talk about another important principle: focus. Everyone talks about balance, but true progress is born not from balance, but from concentration. You can't grow 10 financial trees at once and expect a harvest from each. Choose 2 directions. For example, increasing your personal value and building a financial safety cushion. Invest all your attention, energy, and time there. And once those 2 foundations are strong, they'll give you energy for your next steps. Balance comes as a result of focus, not as a requirement. And one more thing. There's a very quiet enemy that people rarely talk about: boredom. It comes when the process becomes predictable. When you've been saving for the 10th month, when reading another financial book feels repetitive, that's where most people quit. They confuse calm with stagnation. But my friend, success isn't fireworks. It's a lantern that shines a short distance every day but never goes out. And if you can keep walking in that light even without emotional fireworks, the result will be incredible. Sometimes I think the most valuable lesson in financial wisdom isn't in the formulas, but in the silence between them. That silence when you stop and think, where is my money going? Where am I going? And why? Because right there, in a few minutes of calm honesty, a new strategy is born. As I like to say, sometimes the lesson isn't in the words, it's in the silence after them. I'll leave a bit of silence at the end of this video so these ideas can settle in your heart. Don't rush. So, financial well-being isn't a competition. It's a dialogue with your own character. And as you strengthen that dialogue, the outer results start to grow on their own. Money simply finds its way to mature people. Tell me honestly, what part of your financial system now runs on emotion instead of principle? And what would change if you replaced motivation with discipline starting tomorrow? Friends, here's the moment of truth. If I asked you to show me your financial habits, I wouldn't need to see your bank account. It would be enough to look at your daily routine, because your finances are simply a mirror of your thinking in action. And this is where most people get lost. They say, I want more stability, more income, more peace. But they act as if everything will somehow fix itself tomorrow. They seek freedom while avoiding responsibility. And that's impossible. Here's my mental challenge for you. And it can change not only your bank account, but your entire life. Stop thinking that financial freedom is an event. It's not a lottery win, not a promotion, not a deal that will change everything one day. It's not a destination. It's a process of transformation. Real financial freedom begins not when you earn more, but when you stop losing control over who you are becoming. I've seen people win big sums, receive inheritances, make successful deals, and a few years later end up right where they started. Why? Because they forgot the main rule. If you don't change, your money will change for you. Money never stays long in the hands of someone who hasn't grown to its level. That's a law older than any market. So the real question isn't, how do I get more? But how do I become the kind of person who can be trusted with more? The year 2026 will give us a simple choice. Either you become the master of your financial laws, or you'll be swallowed by someone else's economy. Credit, markets, advertising, inflation, noise. Everything you don't control controls you. And this isn't about fear, it's about awakening. Because there's no greater enemy than comfort. Comfort doesn't just steal money, it steals sharpness, courage, creativity. And while you sit in the comfortable chair of your excuses, your potential quietly grows old in the corner. Let me say this clearly. You're not broke if you've lost money. You're broke if you've lost the will to act. And today I want you to challenge exactly that, your inaction. Because inaction looks respectable. It wears the suit of reasonable excuses. The market isn't good right now. I just need to stabilize. Maybe next year. But each of these phrases is a soft blade that cuts your dream 1 millimeter at a time. If you truly want a new financial year, don't wait for the calendar. Start now. Decide, which 3 financial principles will you never break again? Maybe it's the 10% rule. Maybe it's avoiding emotional purchases. Maybe it's daily learning. It doesn't matter what you choose. What matters is that it becomes a promise to yourself, not a declaration to the world. Because it's the silence where decisions are born that creates the loudest results. I know this part sounds tough, but I'm not here to flatter you. I'm here to remind you, you were made for more than just surviving between bills. The world won't give you peace, but it will reward your strength. And strength isn't aggression, risk, or luck. It's consistency. If you can stay loyal to your philosophy day after day, money will find you, even when you're not chasing it. Remember the key phrase of this part: you don't earn money, you grow into it. And when you grow, money no longer runs away, it starts working for you. So here's the question I'll leave you with before the silence. What part of your thinking are you ready to write off the balance sheet to finally invest in a new philosophy worthy of your 2026? You know, when I was young, I thought success was a loud stage, a big sum of money, a crowd of applause. But over the years, I realized true success is the silence inside. It's when you open your wallet and feel no fear. When you look at your calendar and see no chaos. When you wake up in the morning and know your day isn't random, it's designed. That's financial freedom. Not millions in the account, but the feeling that you are the master of your own life. I want this year to become not another stage of survival for you, but a year of building. Building a new character, a new financial architecture, a new calm strength. You don't have to be a genius in economics. You just need to be someone who keeps their small daily promises, because those promises create the gravity of success. They attract resources, people, ideas, and opportunities. In 2026, the winner won't be the one who knows more. It will be the one who keeps their word to themselves. Remember, every dollar you save is a vote for your future. Every minute you spend learning is an investment in your value. Every no to a fleeting desire is a yes to your freedom. Money is just a magnifier. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, it will make you a blessing to others. If you're disciplined, it will make you free. If you're irresponsible, it will only expose it. So don't fear wealth. Fear being unprepared for it. I want you to meet 2026, not with fear of the future, but with gratitude for the chance to create it. Because every morning is another chance to write a new financial story. Wiser, cleaner, stronger. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Wealth isn't the privilege of the young. It's the reward of the mature. And if you're hearing these words today, it means it's not too late to reignite that fire within. And when this video ends, don't rush to move on. I'll leave a few moments of silence. Silence where ideas settle to the bottom of your soul, like gold after stirred water. Don't run from it. Sit in that silence and ask yourself, what am I ready to start paying today to earn the freedom I've been talking about for years? Start small. Start with one principle. But start now, because tomorrow is only a postponed today. And let this be the year when you finally stop counting the days until payday and start counting the days until real freedom. So say this out loud right now. I am the master of my financial future. I work on myself every day. I don't look for easy. I look for right. I create abundance not by accident, but by intention. And here's the final question I want to leave you with before the silence. When the world slows down around you and you're alone with your thoughts, what financial story do you want your silence to tell?